So you talked about faith, talked about religion, talked about different religions. We talked about being Assyrian and Chaldean, right? This is the controversial thing I wanted to talk to you about. So I'm Catholic, but I say I'm Assyrian. And for those who are listening that don't know, Assyrians are an ancient people who survive today that come from the Assyrian Empire. Most people know it as Mesopotamia, cradle of civilization. There was Babylon. And now there's different sects and religions, and we are a divided people. My friend Paul is a Chaldean. And if you want to explain that really quickly, and we can talk about the controversies behind that and why it's a little bit silly.
Yeah, I am Chaldean Assyrian. Chaldean is, Assyrian is my ethnic background. Ethnically, I am Assyrian. A lot of Chaldeans do not identify Assyrian as their ethnic background. They identify Chaldean as their ethnic background.
Right.
Which is not accurate. And I posted a video where I was describing it because I was just getting tired of people being like, no, you're Chaldean. I'm like, no, I'm Assyrian. Like, I'm Assyrian. I would say I'm Chaldean Assyrian, but I'm Assyrian. That's my ethnic background. And then I was like, I'm just going to try to make a video to help explain this further. And yeah, like you read the comment section.
Right, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, so here's the problem that I see, right? The Assyrian people are split three ways, like how we were talking before. There's the Assyrians, there's the Chaldeans, and then there's the Syriacs, Syriyoyo, right? And then within those three groups, they're divided three ways also. The Assyrians, there's Assyrian Church of the East, and then Shoab Yercha. Then with the Chaldeans, there's Chaldeans that say, yeah, we're Catholic Assyrians. Then there's Chaldeans that say, no, we're nothing to do with the Assyrians, we're our own thing. And then there's Chaldeans that say, no, we're just Arab, we're Catholic Arabs.
Catholic Arabs, yeah.
Right? And Syriyoyo, I don't know, they're doing their own thing. They're Orthodox over in like the Eastern European parts, right? So we're a heavily divided people.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it has to do with ego, pride, and also lack of knowledge. But I also understand it when someone goes up to another person and says to them, Paul, your whole identity, your whole entire life, that you've grown up to thinking that it's this the way. Let's pretend you're a 40-year-old man. Okay. I'm saying, Paul.
Close.
Well, you look younger than that. You're wrong your whole life, and you're stupid for thinking that. You're actually this. If someone said that to me, I would be really frustrated and combative. I wouldn't just accept what they were saying because you're telling me my whole identity, my whole entire life is incorrect, right? The thing that I taught my kid, the thing that my parents were proud of. So I'm naturally gonna fight that. I'm naturally gonna say to you, it's just human nature. No, that's not my tribe. This is what I am. So I completely agree. I think Assyrians take the completely wrong approach when they go and try to tell this to Chaldeans that don't believe that they have an ethnic identity that is Assyrian. Because you're slapping them in the face trying to tell them, I'm not saying you in particular, I'm saying just in general, the way that people do it is they go, you're wrong, this is why, suck it, kind of thing, right? And I used to do that a lot. And I realized it's super ineffective because people just resent you more for doing it. And so I guess the real question is how do you unite these things? And you grew up calling yourself Chaldean your whole life.
Yeah.
You didn't even know what Assyrian was.
No.
But then someone told you and you were open-minded and you were like, okay, let me look into this. Can you talk about that?
Man, I didn't know what Assyrian was until I was like in 8th grade. I didn't know what Assyrian was until I was in 8th grade, bro. I was like, I'm Chaldean.
Yeah.
That's what I am. I'm Chaldean. And it's like, this is the Chaldean church. We are Chaldean. That's my ethnicity.
You speak Chaldean.
Yeah. You know, I would hear Chaldean. Like, I would hear them say it's also called Sudith.
Yep.
I would hear them say it is a branch of Aramaic.
Yep.
I would hear them say it's the language of Christ. So I would hear those things. And then Passion of the Christ, they're like, oh, they spoke some dialect of Sudith. I don't know what language they were speaking exactly in Passion of the Christ. But I never really considered Assyrian part of who I am. And that's just how it is in Detroit. I think in Detroit, a lot of Chaldeans, like, you know, there's organizations called the Chaldean blah, blah, blah.
Right.
There's the Chaldean News, the Chaldean blah, blah, blah. And then there's the Assyrian News, the Assyrian Organization, the Assyrian blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's all these Assyrian things and all these Chaldean things. So I started to see that and I'm like, well, these are two separate things, bro. If there's the Chaldean news and the Assyrian news, That's not the same. It looks like they're two different news outlets.
Right.
So it's like, basically what you would ask a Chaldean to do is like, hey, you're going to change your domain name.
Right.
And they're like, I've had this domain for so long, bro. I am not going to change it. I'll acknowledge it. Some will do it.
Yeah.
I even ran into some Assyrian guy when I was, I went to Sugarfish, not to flex. Hey, I was at Sugarfish, and some guy was like, bro, you're funny as hell. He just came to me, he goes, you're funny as hell. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. And then he was like, yeah, I'm Assyrian as well. And I appreciate the video that you put out where you were sharing what Chaldeans and Assyrians are. Because he just immediately goes, we're divided, man. Chaldeans don't know that they're Assyrian. And it's like, they're haters. And it's like not right. And it's wrong. So I would say, yeah, bro, the approach of it is like, I can only just say the truth.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not responding to people in the comments, bro.
Yeah, you can't. It's nothing.
But there's other guys that are responding to people in the comments.
Right, but those people have nothing to do with their lives, so they're just in there fighting wars for you all day.
Yeah, so what I think we should do, bro, I think there should be like a really dope televised
Debate,
where you should get someone from the Chaldean community that's like, I'm going to show you why Chaldeans are a separate ethnic background.
I would love that.
And then it's like, cool.
Yeah.
Now here's someone who is an Assyrian who's going to, and then we should have a historian and a panel and some other people to go through the facts. I think this is what we should do. I think there should be a Chaldean Assyrian convention. I think they should do that this year at the Assyrian convention. I think we should invite someone from one of the Chaldean foundations and say, hey, we would like to have this conversation. And we should have these people to do that. And
I fully agree with you. I don't mean to cut you off, I'm sorry. But the only issue, I've attended conventions. I know what conventions are about. And the main people you want to focus on are the youngest generation, because those are the minds. I mean, you can see everything happening in politics. Who do they target the most? Kids, because if you've influenced the young generation, then they're going to grow up believing a certain extent of information in history, right? So it's the same way with the Assyrian kids. The young generation just wants to party at a convention. They want to go to the pool parties. They want to dress up, look nice, flex from everybody, drink, have fun. That's what convention is for my generation, right? I wholeheartedly agree with you with everything you just said. Because that is the only way to stop bad information is with good information, better information, and you have to present it in a certain way. But the real tricky thing is, how do you get the younger kids to listen and then not dunk on each other saying, oh, this guy made a really good point, this is why you're wrong, you're stupid for this, you're stupid for that.
Oh, it's easy, bro. Like, the thing is, whether they show up or not, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. You film the event, and then you say, here's a clip. That's how people digest information. A lot of them understand the dialect of internet. They don't understand the dialect of real life.
Sure, yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, and
it's okay.
You'll reach more people anyways.
Reach more people anyway, bro. So it's like, you do an event, even if it's like only 50 people there, and it's people who really want to be there are there.
Yeah.
People who are there that really want to be there for this conversation should be there.
Yeah.
Like, I was going to pitch it to them. I was like, bro, I would love to like host this thing. I would love to like host an event like this and make this the center of it. Like, we have people from Chaldean community, people from the Assyrian community, and the goal here is to show how we are Assyrian. And Chaldean people immediately would probably be turned off by that and be like, no, bro, Assyrians are Chaldeans. You guys are us. And then it's like, okay, show me how.
Prove it.
Show me how.
Yeah. You
have all the facts you need. You consider yourself a scholar. Like, obviously, someone who's like, some guy who owns a ton of gas stations doesn't have as much knowledge as someone who has multiple degrees in Assyrian Middle Eastern studies.
Yeah.
They call it Assyrian studies. I've never been to a class that says Chaldean studies.
All right. The official term is Assyrianologist. There's no Chaldeanologist.
There's no Chaldeanologist.
There's no Babylonianologist. The whole thing is called Assyriologist.
But we should find one. Someone who claims, self-proclaimed Chaldeanologist. And it's like, okay, we understand your beliefs. We understand how you think and view things. Why don't we just come together and just have a conversation and see who's right and wrong?
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like it's going to be like the Maury Show, where it's like, in the terms of your ethnic background,
Jerry Springer,
you are Assyrian. The kind of guy's like, ah! They like cry in the corner.
So I completely agree with this. This is the best way to go about it.
Oh, bro, it'd be great, man. And then you film it, make it look cool as hell.
Yeah, this is the best way to go about it. And the last thing I'll say about this is that I think they'll 1000% do it, and I can put you in contact with the people who organize convention if you really want to. I know the people that can do it, so I got you on that one.
Yeah, that'd be fire, player.
This is an interesting conversation that I would like to continue. Maybe hopefully in the future we can get along again and talk about this, but unfortunately we have to wrap up.
Oh, shit.
Paul, I really appreciate you, man, for making the time. Thank you again for letting me in your home.
Of course, man. Thank you for having me, man. And please make my home look bigger in post.
I got you.
Put like a gold trophy over there and shit.
Yeah, I got you. We'll make the depth back.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Habibi, thank you, man.
Cool.